Hello, everyone. My name is Magriet Mouton, and I'm coming to you live from Johannesburg, South Africa. And with me on the line today, I have Mariette Tappan, a certified financial transitionist planner. And Mariette is currently in the bush. I'm very jealous as I'm sitting here in Johannesburg in the city, and she's got the wonderful bush there in the background and wide open spaces where she can live out the lockdown period during the COVID-19 pandemic as it plays out here in South Africa. Mariette, welcome to the school, and thank you for joining me on Living Your Strengths.
Thank you, Magriet. It's a great honor for me to be here, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
Now, Mariette, what is a transitionist financial planner? Tell us a bit more about that.
What makes it unique, Magriet, is that we look at not only the technical side of money. So we look at the human side of money because, if you look at it, everything, all the decisions that we as humans make, is from an emotional basis. And what I found when I lost 5 clients to death in 1 year, and having to deal with people's money issues, I suddenly just thought that there must be a better way dealing with people in these unbelievable struggles and life-changing events. And life-changing events, like we have at the moment, goes hand in hand with emotional struggles. We either fractured-minded, or we are mentally fatigued, or we numb. Any of those, characteristics, pop up. So being a transitionist planner, it is, having these skills that I had to learn in addition to what I have been really practicing for over 27, 28 years, to be able to speak to those human side of my clients and to people in general. And so that is the difference. It is the skills and the tools that one has got to be able to really take a client, take a person that is going through a life-changing event and try and make them calm, give them a very objective view of what is happening in their life right now, and then try and with them, work out what is the next best step. So it's really very exciting for me to be the first in South Africa to get this qualification. And, it is with the main objective to serve people better and to understand them better and to really hold their hands while they going through these events like COVID.
Mariette, well, it sounds fascinating. And I'm certain that specifically during this time, where the world really is in a financial crisis, even more so than the 2008 financial crash, I think, even more so important to bring the human side to finances and not only look at the black and white of your balance sheet.
That's very true, Magriet. The fact is that when one goes through these traumatic and crisis times like we're going through now, is we it blocks our mind, it blocks our thinking capability. And if you're not ready and if you haven't got your cognitive thinking together, you tend to make hasty decisions which you can regret forever. So it is so important to have the time and to have the grace for yourself in this situation to reflect. What is it that's going on right now with me in my circumstances? What is my emotions? What am I feeling? What is this? What is what is going on in my life right now? And try and also identify with those type of feelings because that also helps to, just, let you breathe a little bit into your situation and get some clarity. So that is, that's part of it goes very much into the neuroscience of thinking, positive psychology, mindset change. And wow, what a time to really work on mindset change, because if your mind is not right at this moment in time, it can play havoc in your life, in your decision making, in your relationships, with everything that we do. Those are the things that I think comes to the forefront when I think about life and transitions and challenges and changes and crises. So that is, it helps. It really helps in to know, well, not only yourself better, because everything starts with you, and then to equip and to help and to guide people in their decision making, in whatever is happening in their lives.
Mariette, it sounds like you've got amazing insight, into the human side of finances. And in your bio on LinkedIn, you mentioned that this transitionist journey is a journey that you went on first for yourself to understand how it works, before you wanted to help your clients with that. So, what are some of the insights that you got about yourself, or that you gained about yourself during this journey?
I think when you look back at your career and you look back at how you have developed as a human being, throughout the life circumstances that happened to you, making you into a successful human being, a successful mother, a successful businessman. And you get to a certain point in life, and I'm not going to give my age away, but there's a crossover at some point in life. It can be an early stage or a later stage, where you change from being successful to being significant. And it is then, what is the meaning of life really about, and what are you going to do for the rest of your 40, 50, whatever years? And how is it going to be speaking into your real talents and abilities as a person, and to make you really to live a fulfilled life? Because I think I speak for myself, that I've been very much a driver, and when I look at my talents, I'm an activator and a achiever. So I really run myself like one of those white horses down the track, and the faster I can go, the better. But there comes a time that you have to move on to the next level. And I think when all of us are going, these life events that takes place, that then moves you into a transition period. Sometimes it's being brought on by a crisis. Sometimes it's being brought on by just one morning you wake up and you think to yourself, no, things have got to change. And that, I think that is what brought it on to me. I wanted to do something different in the industry. I wanted to better myself onto what I really like, and that is the caring aspect of who I am and what I've always been doing. But there had to be more, and so I think that was the transition phase, and I'm still in it. It's not something that goes away. I think developing yourself is a constant process, and that is the exciting thing about life. Because when you get to the end of your life, what would you say? Looking back and say, I wish. No, I don't want to wish anything. I want to have done everything.
No, Mariette, I can certainly hear that you're a driver, and you mentioned something about talent, and it sounds like this has played a large role in understanding yourself better. And when we talk about talents, we refer, of course, to the CliftonStrengths. And we've had a conversation where you explain to me how you used your, or how you're currently using your strengths or your talents. And I've got it here on the screen that we can show to the audience. And your top five, and I included your sixth strength as well, is activator, relator, achiever, focus, responsibility, and restorative. Please share with us how are your strengths amplified at the moment during this COVID-19 crisis?
Well, Magriet, do you want to know the good side of my talents or the bad side of my talents? Because,
Yeah, that's
I
it.
think you know, every talent has a good and a bad side to it. And I sometimes can mismanage these. And I think when one get into a crisis phase, one sometimes tend to go overboard with one of with one of the talents. One for certain for me was my focus talent, because when they said, okay, that we are going to be locked in, and we're not going to be able to walk, and we're going to be confined in our places. I really, and I think that goes together with my activator. I immediately decided, okay, let me focus on what is now good for me to do. And I packed my bags and I got into action and realized that I can actually, work here in the bush, and I can actually um, keep my relationships going, which for me as a relator, being one on one with my clients is one of the things which I really like to do. So the silence and the quietness, and being then focused with very little distraction, except a little snack that tried to scare me yesterday. It is, what I when I thought back about it, and when you phoned me about it, I thought, well, that's what I used. I must say my activator is taking a bit of strain because I want to get things done. But on the other hand, activators also, operates very well. If you can take some time and well, I'm activating myself by walking. So um, my responsibility, is difficult because I feel, and it was very hard for me. I think the Monday. I really had a break, almost like a breakdown, because I felt the sadness of the people, and I felt so responsible that I couldn't really do anything for them. And that goes to my restorative, because I want to fix things. And suddenly, I'm stuck in a situation where I can't activate certain things. I can't fix things because this is now in the middle of what we are, and my responsibility towards my clients and wanting to make them feel calm and safe, that really got to me. I must say, I was in tears the whole day. I don't know, I felt very emotional, very overwhelmed. Um, but thank goodness then for my focus talent to say, okay, well, let me see what is it that I can do right now to focus on the things that I can do and the things that I can't do. Then I got into action with my office, working out, a communication program. How are we going to relate with our clients? So all those things, I just realized, came so naturally to me, but also was at that point in time when I felt overwhelmed. I did mismanage it a little bit because what responsibility does is it just it can't say no. So I had to say no to myself.
Wow,
But
that's fascinating and such great insight, Mariette.
yeah, I think in a time like this, when you have to endure certain thing, certain circumstances, the importance of knowing who you are, and what character starts playing out, and just reminding yourself, what am I good at doing, what comes naturally for me. And then, to identify with that just brings a bit of normality, because in a time like this where everything is all over the show, it's like, bringing a bit of of peace and normal thoughts into the process. And I'm glad that I have invested in myself, to learn more about all these things. What makes me really tick? What makes me what energizes me, and what makes me tired? Um, yeah. So these are the that is it's good to know, and it's good to then implement it, because you can have books by the dozens, but if you read them and you don't implement it, it's absolutely meaningless. And I think that's something which I really try to do, because you have to move forward in using your talents, and using what you can do, what you can't do, but most of all, to realize that and identify it on a continuous basis.
Mariette, I'm so glad that you mentioning what strengths, what the meaning is of strengths that you are currently experiencing. In this time where you actually looked inside yourself to see what's already there, what is the constant in your life within you, whilst the world is going crazy on the outside with all the changes, and as you mentioned, all the normalcy that just went away in what seems to be within a month or two. So that is excellent. And it so resonated with me that you said that you want to, because you've got restorative, you want to fix things, and at this moment there's not a lot that we can fix. So to be aware of that, and why you are feeling the way that you feel, and that you have the resource which is focused to fall back on, and to just get that energy up again. It's the inside there is absolutely fascinating. And now with you, very happy that you have the opportunity to know this, and that you had the opportunity to discover your strengths in this way.
Yeah, for example, when I was getting very anxious about, what is now the next thing to do because of my achiever and my activator, I could have at least realized that, it gives me now the opportunity to be one-on-one with my clients. So I could activate a plan to do those type of things. And I must say, yesterday I had really a moment when I was, I was confronted with a snake, and it was like suddenly it just triggered a lot of emotions. And I think when one goes through these uncertain times, one has got to be very aware of the bottled up feelings that you've got inside you, because it just takes one little thing to trigger you. For me yesterday, this snake triggered me, but I think then I got anxious about so many other things, about the uncertainty, about the lockdown that might be prolonged, and all these things have just sort of like overwhelmed me. And then I had to say, okay, Mariette, calm down, focus on what it is that you need to do. What can you do? What you can't? What can you not do? And fix it by take a bowl of water and throw it over the snake to go away. So but what I'm really trying to say is that that one has got to have a lot of compassion for yourself in this time, and focus on the things that you really feel that you're good at, to take you through this, to take you through the time, and help you, get to be on the other side a better person and a stronger person. Because believe you me, it's not something that people want to know, but we're going to go through another transition process, or there's going to be another life-changing event, which we then have to face. So I think make use of the time that we have got on hand to do a bit of introspection and yeah, get to know what makes you what what is those things that you're really born with and that you can use as great leverages. You know, what do you call it? You know, my English is getting to me there. But yeah, so those are the things that helps me through this time, and I
Yeah,
really hope. Yeah,
I think
go
you're
ahead,
so
Lynn.
right, Mariette. And what it also brings, it just helps us to cultivate resilience and develop our resilience when we understand what makes us great, where we get energy from, and what we do well, even if it's just one thing for today.
Yeah, Margriet, I think a lot of people are now in a confinement with relationships and family and children, and so forth. So also knowing the talents of your children, your partner, your husband, it just makes things easier because it takes out the conflict that we sometimes don't know how to handle. So knowing that my husband is actually he's a woo person, so he is really struggling because he wants to party, he wants to be with his friends, having a couple of beers, and now he's stuck with me, which is maybe which is a relator, which wants to have one-on-one. So I'm just too happy to have him with me, and he is like, no, I need lots of people around me. I need to to have interaction with lots of people. And so knowing that these different talents that one needs to be aware of, that can either cause understanding and can also cause conflict. So it's very good to know the people around you, and what is it that they operate from, and respect that. Um, yeah, because there's a couple of days that's left, and maybe more. So it could be well worth finding out not just only your talents, but somebody, your partner, or your children's.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
so. That,
my daughter is a communicator, so when we're on the phone, I know that I have to phone her regularly and I have to chat with her because that's what she needs. Me on the other hand, I have to just take deep breaths because that is not really who I am. But I have to realize that for her to be happy, and well, that is just who she is. So I can't change that. So I have to embrace that.
Mariette, you're putting your finger on something that is critical in this time, and it is we have to give one another what that person needs, and strengths tells us what you need at a certain point in time. And you put your finger on it when you said your daughter has communication as a strength. So she needs a soundboard, and the relator need one-on-one conversations, people with achiever, they need a checklist that they can tick off at the end of the day. So it's so important, and I'm so glad that you brought that up. So how are you feeding your need to take responsibility? Because people with responsibility, they need to make a commitment, and they need to take ownership. How does that play out at the moment for you?
Well, responsibility with my achiever and activator, with my lists that's never ending. I must say it battles a little bit because, I feel that there's so much more that I need to do. I need to, yeah, I normally battle to say no. So my responsibility is really, I would say, is battling a little bit because one of the things about responsibility is you want to feel that you are dependent, and you're there for everybody, and now suddenly you are miles away from anybody and anything. So it do I do feel that connectedness, or that responsibility to be closer to my clients, to have one-on-one meetings with them. It Yeah, I struggle a little bit with that, I must say, because it almost feels like I'm not as dependable as always, because of this circumstances which is all happening. Although it's not my fault, being responsible, I feel it's, I have to do more. I'm there's got to be another way. So I do feel a little bit, out of that, with the responsibility. But then I try to focus on the positive things, because it's also one of the. I'm just a very positive type of person. I look on the brighter side. So I think I actually try and ignore my responsibility now for the moment, uh, and luckily I had a coach that taught me how to get that under control, because it can chew you away, and especially uh, us women, because I speak to a lot of my clients, and which is now at home, so they feel responsible for the children, responsible for their work, responsible for their husband, responsible for the kitchen, for the food, so we can go on. So having this responsibility that you feel you have to do everything for everybody now, because we are now in a crisis, can really cause a lot of uh, conflict within yourself, and also with the rest of your family or your people around you, because suddenly you feel responsible for washing the dishes and this and that, the other, to a point, and then it's too much. Other people that hasn't got responsibilities say, but why do you care about it? So responsibility sometimes suffer wanting to take charge of everything for everybody, and that is tiring. Um, so I think I'm saved from myself, because I'm here in the bush. But I feel more responsible for being in contact with my clients, and more responsible for checking in with my children, more responsible for all sorts of things. So, well, that is me. Um,
But I'm so happy that you are sharing the vulnerable side, and sort of the mismanagement of or how we can mismanage our strengths, and so on. You also mentioned that your coach helped you to understand to understand specifically, in this instance, responsibility better. So how has your coach helped you to understand your strengths better, which now helps you to cope in this time?
well, I think it is really a very big wow moment, or it was for me specifically, when I sat down with my talents and had somebody that guides me, because it's one thing getting stuff, and then how do you interpret it and whatnot. So for me, the thing was that this is I always felt that, why am I acting this way? And suddenly, when I realized that this is the way that I was created, this is actually me, and it's okay. It's okay to be responsible. It's okay to focus on things. It's okay to be an achiever. I always felt that it is it's not good. I was very critical towards myself. I brought work home because I felt responsible. The files were piled up, meters up my desk at home, and then I took it back again. But once I realized that, because I have got responsibility. It is just a matter of, how do I manage it, and finding a balance, because life is, I don't think you can really find balance in life, but you can definitely know how to turn down the volume on certain of the of your talents. Using the words that the coach uses. Is it turn down that responsibility? Go down, go up with this now, go down with that. I said, what? Okay. So it was for me, okay, well, I'm fine. I just have to manage myself better. So bringing in and using the different type of talents, going, learning more about it, just gave me a lot of peace of, well, this is who I am. I can't change myself. I can use these things because that's actually what I do in any event. I just have to be very aware that I don't mismanage, because everything that is good, my dad always used to say, enigiets met 'n te, anything with a too much is a bad thing. And it's exactly who we are. We can really sometimes go overboard with the things that's not good for us. But yeah, it is good to have had that insight and also that coaching that helped me understand it better, and just felt, oh my goodness, okay, after so many years I realized that that is me. When I focus, I mean, you can drop a bomb next to me, I won't even hear it. And my secretary thought that I was mad at her for the day or something like that, and I thought, I'm busy here now, so I'll give attention to you a little bit later. But so realize that I had to be a little bit more aware of how I focus, because it's really, the people at work laugh at me because we've got lights that go on and off, if you move. And there's many times that my secretary come into the office and my lights are off because I haven't moved for for half an hour. So lights go off. So I focus.
That's focus for you.
That's focus. That's too much focus. But it's also good to see the humor in one's in one's life.
Yes.
Not to take it serious.
Yes. Now, Mariette, when you became a transitionist financial planner, you wanted to become the best transitionist financial planner, and you plotted your strengths to, how shall I put it, to characteristics that a transitionist financial planner should have. And you showed me a graph or a diagram of actually what you did. So would you show it to our audience and just explain what you did, because I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, I think once again coming down to the point of knowing, okay, well, this is what you have, this is the person that you have, and when you make a transition into something different, a different type of career, a different type of, maybe same type of career but maybe a different type of challenge, I think it's very, very important to see that, okay, what matches and what does not match, because those things that your job or your new career, your new business or relationship or whatever is going to ask of you, I've got to at least match 90% of who you are. Otherwise, you're going to be very unhappy. And I've been, there were times that I wasn't happy, so now I want to be very happy, using the things that I know that I had to use to do this. So I don't know if you can see that, but I specifically plotted here.
Right.
Yeah. So here's all my top 10 talents. And this is what I can bring to my career, in terms of my strengths. And this is what I needed to have to do what is required of an excellent transitions planner. So, the most important characteristics that you had to listen and have good compassion with people. You had to interpret, and then you had to act. So I really took all my, I linked it to what I needed to do. And when I was finished with this exercise, and you can see that I said I'm going to be the best financial transition planner in the world. So never mind, whatever. So it was for me a very, it was a good exercise, and it confirmed that yes, this is what I will do very good because it comes naturally for me. And it was a it is a it's a great exercise, and I look at it very often. The one thing which I had to tone down was, especially with my listening skills, is to activate. So I had to activate later on, but for now, I had to use some other skills, which also developed helped me develop into a more mature type of person.
That's fascinating, Mariette. What I'm also seeing on your page that you did is also the value that you're bringing to your clients through your strengths, because you've got the correct characteristics, and your strengths just bring that added value. So so if I can summarize our conversation, then there's two things that I hear. I hear, we should, our strengths show us what we need, and we can really harness that in times of crisis. But it also shows us the value that we bring to our work and our relationships, and how we do things, and how we process information and situations. So it's absolutely fascinating what you did there.
Thank you, Magriet. And if it will help, especially referring back to the COVID scenario, when I looked at what I need especially as a achiever, because that's something which drives me, is one of the things that I need is, for example, freedom to work at my own pace. So when I realized that that is something which an achiever needs, it just gave me that, oh, okay, yes, I actually need to be, working on my own pace. So, the lockdown can help me with that need more, because it's my own pace. I think you still have to adhere to certain things, but I just think one has got to refer to those needs that you also have to in this particular time, especially going through this crisis.
Mariette, we've come to the end of our conversation. It was fascinating for me. If there is one thing that you would like to tell people in this time when it comes to financial planning, knowing yourself better, if there's one thing that you would like to encourage people with, what would that be?
I would say this is a time not to panic. It's easy to say, but I think one has got to really sit down, take stock of what is going on around you, create calm in the storm, and leverage on the things that will build those resilience, going forward. But it is not a time to overreact. It is not a time to make hasty decisions. It is a time to have, to try, to have objectivity, and to find a way to love more, to put love into action. So for me, if there's anything for this moment, it is put love into action. Having the patience, having the grace, using those very, very important love action characteristics that we all have, to be able to get through this phase, and to realize that we're all unique and different, and that we have to appreciate, the individualistic type of persons that we have, and that we live with at the moment. And this too will pass, like everybody say. It's just, how do you get through it in a positive, in the most positive way? So that would be my long message.
Marie, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing so openly with us. And may you enjoy the time in the bush and provide the intense and immense value to your clients that you're already doing. If you would like to know more about CliftonStrengths, you are welcome to visit our website, www.phgroup.africa. Stay safe and stay sane.